God, I really miss this series. A series that was born as nothing more than an Easter egg bonus minigame within Project Gotham Racing 2, in which to access it you had to go to your garage and start walking around to find a lone arcade machine. And like I said, what you found on it was essentially the beta for the first game, in which you pilot a ship and must fend off against many different colored shapes trying to kill you. And the way the game is played is that it's a twin stick shooter, meaning that you would move your ship with your left stick and then fire your weapon with the right stick. But anyway, the goal of the game, like any classic arcade game, was to get as high a score as you possibly could, which, trust me, is much easier said than done, as survival is not easily guaranteed, since despite the game being simple, you need to learn how to play it properly. Like, there's enemies that directly attack you, there's the ones that dodge your bullets, and then there's the ones that multiply when they're hit. You also need to keep an eye on where they're spawning in, what spawned in, and how many of them spawned in, and most importantly, you need to know the exact moments you will use a screen-clearing bomb, because trust me, you don't want to panic and waste all of them. And well, that just about wraps up everything about the original game, which despite being just a small little Easter egg game that you might not even end up like finding and playing, it clearly had a lot of effort put into it. So it makes sense that when this company, Bizarre Creations, got introduced to the Xbox Live Arcade, which was an online marketplace that allowed for smaller type games to be released onto, that the game that they would end up releasing to it was a more fleshed out Geometry Wars. Or I suppose a more evolved version, if you will. And well, everything that I just described about the original also applies to this version. Except more so, obviously. Since you're playing on a much bigger board now, you have new enemies to deal with, and you have actual goals that you could achieve. And not to mention the game is just simply harder now, since the amount of enemies on screen now has been like doubled, tripled, quadrupled, there's a lot. And because of this, you really need to hone in more on your split-second reflexes, because one wrong move or hesitation will kill you. But anyway, some of the new enemies you'll be facing off against include these snakes who only die if you hit them in the head, magnets that block your bullets so you need to maneuver your way around them and hit them from behind, and then there's these like tiny little gnat things that just flood the entire board. Alright, with that section done, now to go over the goals that you could achieve in this game. The first one is just the simple online leaderboard, where you could see where you stack up against everyone else and see who's the best overall, but most importantly, seeing what your current high score is so you could try and outdo it. But the other set of goals that this game comes with, since it was released on the 360, are its 12 achievements, like needing to collect 9 bombs, or getting 9 lives, or just simply getting to 100,000 or 500,000 score. But the most infamous achievement among them would have to be Survived 1 million, which, just like the name states, can only be unlocked if you make it to 1,000,000 points without losing a single life, which definitely takes a good amount of dedication to unlock. But anyway, that wraps up all the major things I wanted to go over with this game. Now to wrap this review up with a few minor things. Like the graphics, I really do love them. I love the neon style that this game has, and all the game's crazy eye-popping effects that are like constantly going off. Although I suppose that you probably wouldn't be that happy seeing them if you were an epileptic. Now there's the music, which unfortunately this game only has 2 music tracks, but it more than makes up for it. The first of which is a nice calming arrangement for the main menu, and for when you're actually playing the game, it's like a nearly 10-minute long piece of electronic music that is so fast-paced and energetically energized that it perfectly complements the gameplay. And finally, I really do appreciate the fact that the original version of this game comes like pre-packaged in, which is just a really cool little bonus. Alright, now that's everything I wanted to talk about with this game. So yeah, there's nothing more to say except I love this game and I love this series. So wait, you're telling me this game came out in 2005, and 2005 was nearly 20 years ago? Man, I'm getting old.